All right, hello, this is going to be notes 4.2, variables on both sides. Don't forget to put this in your binder. So first thing is all the steps to solve. First one is going to be parentheses, and the math that we use is multiply. Second step is to combine like terms, which is only adding. Then we have to get the variable on one side, which our options are to add or subtract. Then we have to isolate the variable, but this is a two-part problem, okay? First, you deal with the constant. Second, you'll deal with the coefficient. And if you deal with the constant, your options are to add or subtract. If you're dealing with the coefficient, your options are to multiply or divide. And then last on this list is to check your work, which we haven't really been doing, but we'll probably do in the next day or two. And this is going to be all the math. Okay? So let's look at number 1. We have 7 parentheses, 1 plus 5r plus 9. So I see parentheses here. That means I'm going to distribute. I'm going to distribute that 7. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 5r is 35r, but I can't forget my sign. Then I have to bring down. This just comes down. This plus 9, all of it. Combine like terms. So first I look at this 7. Well, the 7 has a like term of 9. So 7 plus 9 is 16. 35, that plus 35r doesn't have a like term, so we just bring it down, and that's our final answer. And if we look at this, 16 would be our constant, and 35 would be our coefficient. All right, let's look at the next one. The next one is 3m plus 8 parentheses 1 minus m. So 8 is in front of our parentheses, so that's what we multiply, and it's positive. So we have 1 plus 8, so that gives us a plus 8. Then we have 8 times negative m, which is a negative 8m. And the reason why I wrote that plus in front was because when I bring down that 3m, I need to have a sign in between my 3m and my 8. Then I combine like terms. So let's look at the 3m. So we have 3m, and then its like term is a negative 8m. So 3m plus a negative 8m is a negative 5m. Plus 8 doesn't change. It doesn't have a like term, so it stays plus 8. Looking at this next one here, we have a negative 2 in front of our parentheses, so we have to multiply by negative 2. So negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Negative 2 times negative 8x is 16x. We bring down that negative or that minus 10 in the back, right? It doesn't get multiplied. It's not part of that parentheses. Then we check for like terms. So negative 14 is a like term with negative 10. So negative 14 plus a negative 10 is a negative 24. This 16x doesn't have a partner, so we just bring it on down. Don't forget to bring the sign with it too. So now we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to solve. So let's look at this first problem. We have 150 equals 3 parentheses, 1 minus 7 close parentheses, 7v close parentheses. I draw my balance bar. I see I got parentheses, so let's multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times negative 7 is a negative 21v. Don't forget the variable. Now, I don't have anything else I can do on this other side, so I bring everything else down. Now I'm going to check. Do I have a constant? Do I have a coefficient? Well, yeah, I have a constant of 3. I have a coefficient of negative 21. So I'm going to start with that 3. And I'm going to subtract that 3 on both sides, because that minus sign is with the 21. These cancel. I'm left with 147 equals negative 21v. Again, this is with the 21, okay? Then I have to get rid of the coefficient, and this coefficient has secret multiplication, so I divide by negative 21 on both sides. And this leaves us with a negative 7 equals v. Again, this is a video, so you can always pause and go back. Balance bar. Okay, I see I have a parenthesis, so I need to multiply this negative 4. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 4 times negative 4x is a positive 16x. Bring down the equal sign in the 84 because they're not being multiplied. I don't have any like terms to combine, so now I have to deal with figure out the constant coefficient. Well, this is my constant, this is my coefficient. So to get rid of this constant, we have a negative 12, so we want to add 12 on both sides. This leaves us with 16x equals 96. Then we gotta get rid of that 16 by dividing on both sides. And this leaves us with x equals, looking at 11. So we have negative 102 equals negative 6 parentheses 1 minus 4r, close parentheses. So first thing we want to do is get rid of that parentheses. So take negative 6 and multiply it into the parentheses, gives us negative 6. Take that negative 6, multiply it to the negative 4, it becomes a plus 24, and don't forget the r. Bring everything else down, including the equal sign. Do not change this to a positive. I saw that a lot. Now I'm going to move my constant. My constant is 6, so I'm going to add a 6 on both sides. This leaves us with 24r equals negative 96. 24 is a coefficient, so I have secret multiplication happening, so I need to divide using my fraction bar. This leaves us with r equals negative 4. I want you guys to try 12 on your own. You should get, sorry, I know I'm bouncing around. You should get negative 3 equals n. I'm not going to write it because I know there's people out there who just copy everything I write. Okay, looking at 13, we have 91 equals negative 2 plus 3 times 7 minus 4n. 3 is in front of my parentheses, so that's what I'm going to multiply. So I have a plus 21 and then minus 12n. 3 times negative 4n is a negative 12n. Bring down that negative 2 and the equal sign in 91. Then I see here I have like terms I can combine. Negative 2 plus 21 is 19, but everything else just gets brought down. Okay, just to remind you, now we're left with a constant and a coefficient. So we're going to get rid of our constant first. So I have 19, I'm going to subtract that 19 because again, this negative is with 12. So I subtract that 19 on both sides. This leaves us with 72. And I forgot my n. Then I need to divide by negative 12 on both sides to get rid of my coefficient, which leaves us with n equals negative 6. Looking at 14, draw my balance bar. The negative 3 is in front of my parentheses, so that's what I multiply. This gives me a negative 12r plus 15 equals negative 85, and bring down that negative 4. See if I have like terms. Well, negative 4 plus 15 gives me 11. The negative 12r gets brought down, equals negative 85. This is my constant, this is my coefficient. So I subtract this 11 on both sides. This leaves us with negative 12r equals negative 96. Then I divide that negative 12 on both sides because it's secretly being multiplied to that r. And we are left with r equals a positive 8. Looking at 13, a second number of 13, sorry about that, typo. We have 107 equals negative 5x minus 2 times 4x minus 8. I'm going to take this negative 2 and multiply it. So I got a negative 2 times 4x is a negative 8x. Negative 2 times negative 8 is a positive 16. Everything else gets brought down. That wasn't impacted by the multiplying. Negative 5x plus a negative 18 are like terms, so this gives you a negative 13x. Bring everything else down that isn't a like term. Now I see I have a coefficient of a negative 13 and a constant of 16. So that means I subtract the 16 on both sides first, because remember, constants you either add or subtract, and since we are adding that 16, we must subtract it on both sides to balance out. This leaves you with 91 equals a negative 13x. Then you divide that negative 13 on both sides because it's got secret multiplication happening with the x. This leaves us with negative 7 equals x. All right, I want you to try number 14, and then your homework, you only have to do the problems I told you to do in class, or it will be told in Google Classroom. That's all I have for you today, and have a good day.